Hello, I'm Delonda Little, and I'm one of the officials registered for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Today, I am representing the Horatio Williams Foundation, and this is what we're calling one of the first annual referee clinics. And we are at Detroit Edison Public School Academy. And today, we will have a number of officials coming to the clinic to learn and be taught some of the to be learned. Oh God! Start over.
No, we live. We're not stopping. Come on. You're okay. You're fine.
No, you gotta start that over.
We're gonna go. We're gonna keep going. It's already up. And it's fine. We're gonna make mistakes as we go.
Lindsay.
Go back up there.
I can't believe it. Okay, so up first we have Kamaria Douglas.
Show them.
You ain't tell me it was like live. I'm
thinking you what other live is it?
Oh my God. I thought you was like.
Thanks for the introduction, D. My name is Kamaria Douglas. I reside in Metro Detroit. And, I've been officiating I started right out of high school. I'm going to be talking about how and why I got started. And when I first got started with refereeing, it started off as people who watched me play basketball. I played basketball my whole life. Pulled me to the side like, hey, you want to make some extra money? And they pulled me to the side and told me about refereeing, just a good way to get started on the side. I started when I was 18 years old. And just was doing it as a little hustle on the weekend. I could go referee an AU tournament, be refereeing all weekend literally, and walk away with $600. That was a lot of money as a 17, 18-year-old. So that's why I got started. And just the type of person that I am, whatever I'm doing, I always want to make sure I'm doing the right thing. And even though I played basketball since I was 8 years old, I just wanted to make sure I was standing in the right place, positioning myself, making the right calls, having the right signals. So I used to ask a bunch of questions, not knowing where officiating could take me in particular, but that was just the type of person I was. I'm a perfectionist. So after doing that for a little while, I was playing at Northwood University, and for the summer, I came home and I finally started to learn 3-man at an AU tournament. Repping 3-man with Tedra Jackson, shout out to Tedra, and Megan Joseph, was Parks at the time, and we did some 3-man, and I had got a call from Mike Collins. And I didn't, again, at this point in time, I was just making money in the summertime during the weekends, just put some money in my pocket. And I got a call about reffing JUCO basketball. I didn't want any parts of that because I was still a player at heart. I wasn't ready to dive into the officiating world per se, or didn't know the avenues and the roads that it could possibly take me and be a career. So I dismissed it. But then after I graduated college, I moved to Metro Detroit. I was born and raised in Lansing. Moved to Metro Detroit and hit up my old AU coach, Mhsa, and was like, hey, where can I get some games? And so put me in contact with Delonda. I know she wasn't an assigner at the time. Put me in contact with Delonda, then Calvin Denson, and start getting some games on the side. And then it turns out I started getting some JV games from Malcolm and Mike Smith at the time, and they told me to go to camp. I'm like, what's that? I didn't know there's a camp for officiating. Like, this is serious. So I was like, okay. I went to sign up, and then I was like, nah, that's a lot of money to pay. Why am I going to do that? I'm just going to do my thing or whatever. But Malcolm Pennington was very persistent. I remember getting a phone call, like, why are you not at camp? And I was like, I guess I'm going to go to camp now. So went to camp, signed up for a 3-person high school mechanics, and repped about 10 minutes, and I guess Malcolm saw something in me, because at that moment, he told me he wanted to move me to the women's side for college, and I told him, no, I don't want to do that, because I was always scared to, I didn't want to go out there and embarrass myself. And I'm the type of person, I just need to know what I'm doing and feel comfortable. But he told me I would be okay. He put me with Delonda, and she kind of took me under her wing, and that's how I kind of got started. My first full season as a registered official, I was also picked up to referee college basketball, which is very rare. That is a very rare situation, so I'm blessed to have that path. But when I got started with officiating, a lot of people told me that, oh, you should coach. And when I started, it just gave me a whole different perspective, right? From being a player, to watching the game, to officiating the game, right? Those are three different perspectives that I felt that would help me as a basketball player. And coaching, I always wanted to coach, but I just felt like I didn't want to deal with the parents and how, they wanted their kids to play and why they ain't getting more playing time. I just felt like refereeing was a way to keep me close to the game and get my basketball fix after I finished playing college basketball. So that's just a little summary of how I got started and why I got into refereeing. Some of the benefits of refereeing, one, the obvious, is staying physically fit, right? Just being able to get out there and do something that I love and watch something that I love, which is basketball, and be able to run up and down the court. That was one of the huge benefits for refereeing. Another benefit is just the camaraderie and the people and the networking that you get to be around. It's like a fraternity sorority, I say. Some of the referee friends that I have made, they are going to be lifelong friends. I mean, you're out there, when you go onto the court and you step onto the court, like, everybody's against you, per se, quote unquote. And you're going to battle. And you're going to battle with the three people or two people, depending on the mechanics that you're working. And you're out there. And you have to trust the people that you're working with. So we're around, especially during referee season, we could have a game 6-7 times out the week. And you see these people sometimes more than, maybe your friends that are outside of the refereeing circle. So you build these relationships and trust with people. And so that's another benefit that I feel it comes to the refereeing circle. Like I said, networking. People referee, they are professionals as well. They do refereeing on the side. So I've had referee friends that are lawyers that have helped me out in particular situations. Referees that are doctors that have helped me in particular situations. Referees that knew somebody that gave an opportunity to one of my family members. So it's just a huge networking circle. So that's some of the benefits to refereeing. The next thing that I am going to discuss is the game fees. I know everybody wants to know about the money that comes along with it. So, starting off, at AAU level, let's start with AAU. So AAU basketball, it can range depending on how the games are set up, from a running clock game to a stop clock game, but that can range anywhere from $25 per game upward to $35 per game. You're out there for an hour running up and down the court. That's pretty good if you think about it, right? Next, if you want to go to formal middle school basketball, those games get paid $35 to $40 per game. Moving up to high school basketball, JV freshman level, I believe, is about $55 a game now. Going to varsity high school, that can range depending on the conference that you are a part of, and that could be anywhere from $60 to $75. Different conferences have different rates. You're an independent contractor, so just depending on where you work, that is the rate for those games. Next, moving up to the junior college level, you get paid $160 a game. That's 2 hours of your time, people. 2 hours of your time. And I know that was one of the things when I first got started, after Pitt pulled me to the side about refereeing college basketball. He told me how much they made. I said, they made what? I was like, okay, I can do this. Let me take this real seriously because you can make some bread out here. My sister played basketball at Central Michigan University, and I remember her asking one of the refs because we were refereeing on the side. And found out at that time, and this is a a long time ago. I ain't gonna date ourselves, but they was making $700-800 a game. I said, what? So you can, as you move up the ladder, it's real opportunity. Some people, once you get to a certain level, have this as a full-time profession. So I think I left off with JUCO at $160 a game. If you get into Division III, whether it be NCAA Division III, NAIA Division III, they pay $205 a game. Yes, I said $205 a game. Next level, we have Division II. So Division II is a little bit different. They also play for mileage, depending on how far you travel. So the base pay for the Division II is about $290. And then from there, you get an additional X amount of dollars depending on how far you go. And it depends on, I think they're grouped in different tiers. So moving up, this is where a big jump comes. Moving up to Division I basketball. And I'm on the women's side. So I'm strictly speaking for women's prices. It's a little bit of a difference, especially as you move up between men's and women's. But lower level Division I, like mid-major, you get paid, and there's different tiers depending on how long you've been within the conference. It can pay anywhere from $1,400 a game upward to about $2,200 a game. And that's for mid-major Division I basketball. Yes, there's a comma in the check. Moving on to left of me, April. Moving up to major Division I, so we're talking Big Ten, Big East, those conferences, ACC, they get paid anywhere from a range of $2,500 per game upward to about $3,500 per game. Yes, I said that for one basketball game. So at the Division I level, I've known officials, there's one gentleman in particular who has reffed the most women's games the past 29 years. His gross, and when I say for women's college, that starts in October and it goes to about March, April, depending on how far you advance in the NCAA tournament. But he makes collectively from that time $300,000 for the season. Yes, I said that. If you go down to someone that has like a healthier Division I schedule, they can make $150K during the season. And keep in mind, some of these people have full-time careers. So this is additional money. So there's definitely opportunity for you to make a full-time career out of it. Some people do. Some people choose to keep their jobs as well. But it's definitely something that once you move up, it's very serious. We review at all levels. You should be reviewing film because you want to get better, right? But we get play. Everybody asking me, how you do how was your game today? I'll let you know about 48 hours because you can get clips, play scenarios, but it's an opportunity for you to learn and an opportunity for you to grow. I think it just helps with people skills in general, right? Because you have coaches in heated situations, right? You have to be taught to de-escalate a situation, not throw fuel on the fire. And that could translate into your everyday people skills as well, just dealing with people. So that is what I was supposed to talk about. And I know I can talk and talk, so I'm going to stop. And thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you, Kamaria. And next up, we have Malcolm Pennington.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Delonda Little, for that eloquent introduction. Yes, my name is Malcolm Pennington, and I've been a college basketball official here in the state of Michigan, based in the state of Michigan, for the past 32 years. And a high school basketball official who registered in the state of Michigan for about 33, 34 years. So like Kamaria, I was very lucky, very fortunate to go right to junior college pretty much after my first year or so. And subsequently, as I became associated with, shout out to Mike Smith, who was a great influence on the community of basketball officiating in the Metro Detroit area and the entire state of Michigan, actually. He brought me onto the assigning side. So I've been an assigner in the Detroit area for, roughly about 25 years as well. So two things about officiating. A, I'm either a masochist, glutton for punishment, or B, I found something to have a great love and a great passion for to be doing it for this long. So it could be a combination of both people. But officiating, not for everybody. Hopefully, if you do decide to undertake it, you'll like it. You either will love it or you will detest it. Everybody cannot perform in that arena. You're under constant scrutiny. You're always wrong and you're always right 50% of the time. And everybody's a critic, and everybody that's watching you can do a better job than you. But they haven't been, even though they're not out there actually performing the functions that it takes to be an official. I think Kamari had mentioned some of the skill sets that you have to have. You have to be a great communicator. You have to be able to communicate not only with the coaches, not only with players, not only with administrators, but you also, through your mechanics and through your signals and through your demeanor, you're communicating with the fans, the spectators, you're communicating with the broadcasters or commentators that might be commentating on your game. So everything that you do as an official, from the time you arrive at the arena, arrive at the gym, you're pretty much under a microscope. So my topic, actually, that I was asked to speak about was professionalism. And professionalism in officiating will take you a long way, and depending on your level of interest and your level of sincerity as far as how far you want to go with it and what you want to do with it. I feel like, officiating, like many things in life, is just like water. You'll find your level, and I don't begrudge anybody for what level they want to be at. Some people are perfectly fine being little kid referees, and some people have great aspirations. They want to be NBA referees, and there are many, many mile markers in between those two, and we all fit in somewhere. It's highly competitive. I know Kamaria, the speaker before me, mentioned the pay rates. Don't be confused. It's not easy to get to where she's gotten. It's not easy to get to where Delonda or April. People that have ascended to college, it is highly competitive. And the difference between the person that is chosen and successful in this industry and the difference between the one that is not, oftentimes are very minute differences. So that falls back to, a lot of times, back to the professionalism, the aspect of being an official, of being always looked at. Your character is always something that is in question. And character, I've often been told, is something is how you act when nobody's watching, and how you treat others that can't do anything to benefit you. And if you have good character and good communication skills, those two things will take you a long way as a referee with regards to professionalism. The thing I like to tell young officials, new officials starting out in this industry is that understand that as an official, you are the totality of your entity. By that I mean you are the product, you are the marketing department, you are the quality control department, you are the CEO. Everything that you do determines and dictates or has a great influence or impact on where you will ascend to or where you will land. Having said that, three things that are very key to whether or not you want to be an official that does ascend and does rise or even wants to is your availability, your ability to communicate, and your transportation. there's been some great officials that their job just did not allow them to live the lifestyle of a referee. And nips right in the bud right there. If you don't have this flexibility, that's why I think Kamari mentioned in her speech that a lot of the people that are referees are lawyers, doctors, real estate agents, dentists, people who have flexibility in their careers, professionals that are able to travel, that are able to, well, I don't have to stay here and punch out at 5 o'clock. People that are able to get to a destination in time. Heck, when I first wanted to start officiating, I couldn't start officiating because all the JV games started at 5:30 and I didn't get off work till about 5:30. So I really didn't start officiating until about 5 to 10 years later than I actually wanted to because of my job. But as my job situation changed and I gained some flexibility, was able to begin officiating, that's what allowed me to get back into it. But if you're not available to get to your games, leave work, there's some young men right now that I'd like to use that I just can't put them right on varsity. I'd rather put them on JV first. They just can't get off work. But having said that, I want to back up and talk about how you do ascend. Kamari spoke to it a little bit. When I started, late 80s, early 90s, there was a period of growth, a period of development that you pretty much had to go through in order to get to the varsity level. And sometimes that might take 5, 7, 10 years, depending on who the person is. You might do JV for 7, 8, 9 years before you can do varsity. Let's fast forward. I'm talking 1990. Let's fast forward to 2020. When I started signing games around 1997, there were officials that were literally begging me for games. I really want to do varsity. Can I get this game? Can I get that game? I want to do varsity, blah, blah, blah. But they weren't in that upper tier. They weren't good enough, and I'd have to be honest with them. And I always try to be transparent and honest and let you know that listen, you have the basic criteria within you. I see it in you, but that potential has to grow, and you have to mature, and you have to get to this level that you want to be to, and you know where you want to be. But my job is to make sure that when I put you out there, you're ready, and to put you in the best positions to succeed. Now, 2020, shoes on the other foot. I'm begging officials that I wouldn't even use 30 years ago to do these games. This is real. It's supply and demand, and right now, particularly, there's things that have happened over the last 10 to 15 years that have dwindled the pot as far as the pool of available referees. And now that we're in COVID pandemic, that I'm literally, as an assigner, and I'm sure other assigners would probably tell you similar things that I'm saying. The ability to get out there and do varsity within your first or second year is not out of the question. And some of you might, some people find out that boom, they're like a fish to water. They get on that court, they get that whistle, they got that persona. You're always projecting strength. You're always projecting a certain edginess to your persona. You have to have a certain cockiness without being arrogant. But you have to have a command. You have to have a presence. You have to be strong on the court. You have to be fair, firm, and friendly. Is what I was taught coming up. And if you have those attributes and you take those to the court with you, and you don't show fear and you don't show weakness, but you also have empathy, compassion, and fairness, those things will take you a long way. Unfortunately, the pendulum swings back and forth as far as it does in most things in life. And right now, the pendulum it's on the wrong end of the spectrum as far as the availability and the quality of officials. So it's a good opportunity right now for somebody who has a good knack for this, who catches on to it quickly. There's a good opportunity right now to move up in the ranks rather quickly. The downside of that is, I think Kamari talked about going to camps when we started out. The downside is now a lot of officials don't see any reason or need, or don't have any incentive to go to camps. They're already getting games that they shouldn't be getting. They're already getting good games, unfortunately, some officials tend to think that they're really good or they're really better than what they are, and they don't understand the need to work at their craft. They don't understand the need to constantly work at getting better at what you do, so that you can get to where you want to get. They don't see the big picture. They don't know that all across the United States of America, from East Coast to West Coast, North to South, there's somebody out there that wants it just as much as you, or more than you, and they're working at it, and they're working harder at it. And there's other parts of the country that have better, quite frankly, have better networks than we have here in the Midwest. The southern region, the East Coast, even the West Coast, I think we lag behind some other areas of the country as far as the support and networks that could be made available to our officials for growth. But I want to wrap this up with just by saying, if you want to be an official and you like it, if you tried and you like it, I would encourage you to stick with it. I'd encourage you to reach out to those that have been in the game. I would encourage you to just try to be the best you can be, and work every game like it's your last game, and to work every game as if your child were playing, and on both teams. Always be fair. As an official, you always want to be, your number one job is to make sure that the game is fair, whatever that entails. Professionalism is a big key. So thanks for having me. I want to shout out to Lindsay Ellison, Untitled Little, April Martin, Kamari Douglas, and right now we just have Darnell Summer here. I want to thank him also for coming out this morning and joining us, and hopefully he can learn from this, and hopefully some others will get a benefit from this presentation. Thank you. Thank you. Oh yeah.
Thank you so much, Malcolm. Thank you. Next up, we have Miss April Martin. Oh, Lord.
No. People will ask what that was about, though.
All right, so my name is April Martin, and I've been refereeing for a long time. I know it's over 20 years. I stopped counting. I kind of started around the age, like Kamaria has said. I think I started refereeing at 19. And as you've heard, Malcolm and Kamaria, we've all had different journeys as to how we became basketball officials. So for me, I was in school. My dad was a coach. He had an assistant coach, and she didn't want to go to camp by herself. And prior to that, I used to always keep score at the games for my dad. So this was in middle school, high school, and I was still doing it afterwards. She didn't want to go to camp by herself, and I told my dad, I already know the rules, so I'll go. So went to camp, didn't know a single rule like I thought I did. But I met some great people. I think one of the first people I probably met at camp was probably Malcolm. Obviously, I met Mike Smith at that camp because it was his camp. But my major was mechanical engineering. So at that point, I was used to being around a lot of men. So refereeing is definitely still today more of a male-dominated field. The good thing is you have officials like Kamaria, Delonda, and some others in this area especially where that landscape of officials is changing. So you're not just seeing more men, you're seeing more women. And there's obviously more of a pull or a desire to pick up more women's officials, especially for games where you see young girls or young women playing. It only makes sense, right? There's some things I can talk to a woman that I can't talk to a man about, and they just really wouldn't understand it. So that's how I pretty much got started. I think after my first year, I did go to camp. Obviously, I said that. But after my first year, I did some JV games. And I think after that, I think the conversation was, we want you to do varsity, but I was in school and I said, I can't do it. I have labs I have to take, after at 4 or 5 o'clock, so I can't do it. But essentially, as time progressed, I was still like one of the only, probably one of the younger officials still at that time. And there weren't a lot of women. There were the Gail Richards or the Michelle Del Ducos, but they were far and few in between. You may see them because they were progressing in their career, so I didn't see them as much. So, it wasn't until like a few years after that that I met Delonda, and then a few years after that, then I met Kamaria. So again, for me, it didn't really bother me because I was used to being around a lot of men, being in a male-dominated field, but it was nice eventually to start seeing more women. So I know Malcolm and Kamaria covered a lot, but I just want to say that if there's a young girl, if you love the game, even if you don't play a lot, I didn't play a lot. I played in high school. I didn't play in college. My main thing was more of the academic space than it was for the athletics, but it's not to say that, someone in athletics is going to be a great official versus someone that it is not. We've had people, or we've seen people rise to the same level as maybe a Kamaria that did not play in school, never played basketball, but they still rose through the ranks and became a D1 official. But I want to say, especially to young girls, young women, try it. If you love the game, you're willing to learn, this is definitely, or this could very well be an avenue for you. But, as we get older, as I get older, I want someone to replace me to have the same experiences I've had, to make new friends, to build your network circle, to help you, in your career aspirations, what have you. This has definitely been a great platform. And even the field that I'm in right now, or what I do for my job, refereeing definitely helps because you have to be able to think quick and fast on your feet. So referees are very sarcastic. And to a certain degree, we have to be able to deal with players, coaches, and fans. And it has definitely helped me in my workspace because I could talk that talk with a lot of the men and won't blink twice because it doesn't bother me. So I want to cover really quickly how to register if you are interested. So Darnell, this would definitely be helpful for you. So registration with the MHS, the Michigan High School Athletic Association, you definitely have to go to the mhsaa.com to register. It takes you through some series of steps, but just really quickly, some overviews. You have to be at least 18 years of age. You have to have graduated from high school or no longer attending a high school. They will do a criminal history check. You have to complete an online course and a quiz. You have to achieve a minimum score of 70%. And you have 3 tries to do that. Again, with all of us being around here, if you need help and you have questions or concerns, you can definitely reach out to us. I'm not sure if Lindsay's going to have our information or some information up there for you to contact us. But if you need help, please do so. This is the opportunity. We didn't have these things around us at that time. Technology is a great thing, so use it. Let me see. And there was one more thing. And if you want to do middle school, if that's your aspiration, as Malcolm said, there are many avenues. Just remember that you cannot officiate grades 7 through 12 without completing the registration process. And you have to make sure that you're doing that. If you referee games and you're not a registered official, there are consequences that could possibly put you on probation where you should not be officiating games. And my thing is, do things the right way. We didn't get to this point because we just, walked into a gym and said, give us games. We went through the proper channels to make sure that we got games. I think Malcolm mentioned this. Registered officials are independent contractors, and they determine for themselves what schools and dates they work. So again, make sure you are on top of it. You take care of business and communicate if you are not available at a certain period of time. And also, I just want to definitely mention this. that MHSAA member schools utilize the services of third-party assigners. So you heard Kamaria say Mike Conlon, he is an assigner in the Lansing area. Malcolm and Delonda are assigners for Detroit Public Schools. And you have other assigners or other associations, but you have to be registered, especially if you plan on officiating high school games. You need to be a part of a member association, and you need to make sure that you talk to your assigners. That is the first step in making sure that you get games. So I think that's it for me, and I'll turn it back over to Delonda.
Okay, thank you very much, April. April talked about registering with the Michigan High School Athletic Association. A part of that Michigan High School Athletic Association registration also comes the Officials Mentorship Program. This is one of the newest programs they have in MHSAA. I'd like to say this before I talk about this program. You don't have to be a part of this program in order to mentor somebody. As you probably heard Kamaria say, Malcolm and April, we all had somebody that probably streamed us along, or that we looked up to, or that we modeled. And that's part of what we do in officiating. Most of us, we watch a lot of games, we watch officials, and when you're starting, that is very helpful in your growth. You know, that's how you learn. That's, you know, you want to see what other people are doing out there, what their demeanor, court presence is like, how they handle coaches. You know, are they getting rattled out there? And having a calm demeanor helps us out there. You know, you want to look like you're in control of the game. So either way, the Officials Mentorship Program, just briefly, it is a program that you register through the Michigan High School Athletic Association. I myself am a part of this program, and just to read the purpose of it that comes directly from the website, it says the purpose of the MHSA Officials Mentorship Program is to provide a formal, structured system to develop new and inexperienced MHSAA officials through mentorship by veteran MHSAA officials. So the objectives of this program is to offer officials guidance and direction early in their officiating careers, to promote individual developmental through the transfer of skills, knowledge, and insight, to assist local approved associations in the development of qualified talent pool, to provide an additional resource for officials' feedback, to contribute to officials' satisfaction and retention, to develop an internal pipeline for succession planning, to create a mechanism for the development of future leaders in officiating. So that's a part of what happens when you are a part of this program. You know, you want to get the newer officials, you want to get the inexperienced officials as well. And in addition to that, they have a student legacy program. And the student legacy program kind of falls underneath that mentorship program. And that's for officials who start out as young as 14 years old. And most of them are in high school. And what they do, they kind of tag along with you, follow you along, and you being that mentorship or a part of that student legacy program, you are to critique them, you know, help them with their rules, kind of help them with, you know, educating them on the floor and off the floor, and basically a mentor. So it's the same type thing. It kind of runs hand in hand. If you decide that you want to be a part of this mentorship program, you will pair yourself with a veteran official. Part of being a part of pairing yourself with a veteran official, you need to get with a local association. And one of the local associations in our area, in the Metro Detroit area, is the Metro Detroit Area Officials Association, and also Motor City Area Officials Association. The reason for those associations is to help you with your training and educational purposes, your growth, your development. It's a lot of training going on. They teach you rules. You go over a lot of the, they do video clips. They go over the tests. So it's helpful. You want to be a part of the association, one, because you have to be. It's required through the MHSAA. But also because it's a part, if you're looking to do postseason assignments, you have to be in a local approved association through the MHSAA office. Again, back to the mentorship program, there is a form that needs to be completed, and I think I have it here. I'm going to kind of pull it up. I don't think I have it here. Well, I don't have it here, but either way, it's on the website. I myself, as the veteran, would fill it out, as well as the person who is looking to be a part of the mentorship program, looking for guidance. So that's how you become a part of the MHSA Officials Mentorship Program. So those are some of the things that, you know, you can be involved in if you're just trying to get back to your sport, get into refereeing. I mean, obviously there's basketball, volleyball, softball, there's other sports. It doesn't just have to be basketball. Officials are needed across the state. So I appreciate everybody coming out tonight and all the ones who presented for this program. Horatio Williams Foundation will be putting this together. We're going to look to probably do monthly or bi-monthly, so you will see us again. We'll be reaching out. We're trying to reach and teach. As they say, reach one, teach one. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to connect. We're trying to make, you know, bring in our youth, targeting our women, targeting the age group 16 to 24. But this is for everybody. If you're an official and you can really gain something from this educational tool that we are using here. Every month you might see some different faces, but different officials, but this is something we plan to do moving forward. So I appreciate everyone coming out. Do anybody have any questions or something that we probably need to go over?
Just that there's a fee for registration with the state of Michigan for those that are in the legacy program and for those that.
It's a $30 fee, and that's for the registration requirement. Also, I have some vouchers here. I'll be passing them out to those newer officials. If you have not registered, I do have some vouchers that I can give you. It has to be for a brand new official that will cover your fee and any sport that you decide that you want to be registered for. Again, as April mentioned, that fee is $30 to be registered. And then it's also an additional fee per sport. So if you want to register for more than one sport, I believe it's $15. And so that would be $45 if you're trying to do an additional sport.
Contact information.
Contact information, Delonda Little, AKA D, and my email address is dlittle, DLITTLE 44 @yahoo.com. Also, my cell phone number is 313-220-0012. 313-220-0012.
No calls after 10 and no funny text messages.
That's how you can reach me, and you can reach any of the people that you saw today. That would be great. I can give you all of their contact information. Lindsay Huddleston was great. I'm sure he's going to post all of our information for you to contact, and we would be great mentors for you. So thank you again. I appreciate it, and have a blessed day.